Have you ever woken up from a dream, just vividly remembering a building, or maybe a room, even a whole street? It feels so real that you could almost walk through it, but you know it doesn't actually exist. It's this really powerful feeling, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes a bit unsettling. But what if those weren't just like random fantasies? Today, we're doing a deep dive into a concept that, honestly, it challenges everything we thought we knew about dreams, and maybe even design itself. It's called the Oneiric Blueprint Reflection Principle.
It is a truly intriguing principle and, yeah, pretty mind-bending. It basically proposes that those really strange but incredibly detailed spaces you see in dreams, they might actually be a premonitory reflection.
Premonitory reflections. Okay.
Yeah, think of them as outlines, maybe, architectural forms that haven't been designed or built by anyone. Well, not yet anyway. Imagine your dream isn't just about your past or present, but it's like a blueprint of future architecture, sort of reverse flowing through your unconscious into right now.
Wow. Okay, that's a fascinating premise. A blueprint from the future flowing back. So if dreams can work like that, like architectural blueprints, what's the mechanism? The principle mentions things like an architectural premonition zone and retro design perception. What are we actually talking about there?
Exactly. So the architectural premonition zone, that's supposedly where these first kind of raw blueprints show up in your dreams. They might feel huge, abstract, almost, hard to grasp at first, like a blurry sketch before it becomes a clear plan. It's where the outlines first appear.
Say the initial sketch.
Right. And then there's retro design perception. This is where your unconscious mind supposedly gets what feels like virtual data about these places that don't exist yet. Think of it like your brain acting as a kind of receiver, tuning into architectural possibilities maybe from the future timeline. And that makes these dream spaces feel, well, more real than real.
A receiver tuning into future blueprints. Wow. That really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? About consciousness itself. And
Yeah.
so if this is, potentially happening, what conditions might make someone more likely to have these specific kinds of architectural dreams?
Well, the sources suggest they often pop up after certain experiences or mental states. Like maybe you've just had a really intense emotional or memory-rich experience in a specific place, exploring a new city perhaps, or an old building. Or maybe you fall asleep in a kind of heightened state of spatial awareness, say, after a lot of creative design work or, intense visualization.
Right, like your brain is already primed for space.
Exactly. And a key sign is dreaming of buildings that feel deeply familiar, almost like home, but they just don't exist anywhere in the waking world. And often they have this very logical, detailed spatial design, not the usual chaotic, surreal dream stuff.
And the actual symptoms people report,
Mm.
they're really captivating. And yeah, maybe a little chilling too. You might wake up with this powerful, undeniable feeling that this building should exist, like it's missing from the world.
That conviction.
Or you have this incredibly vivid, almost map-like memory of streets or rooms that aren't real. But the one that really gives you pause is years later suddenly encountering a real place that feels eerily like a past dream.
Yes, that delayed recognition.
We're talking echoes, like seeing a house in a childhood dream that matches a home you move into decades later, or, a back alley in a city you've never visited feeling strangely familiar. Apparently, even architects, artists, designers, some have admitted they unknowingly recreated things they first saw in dreams.
Right. Or even stranger, experiencing like an awareness of a design flaw within the dreamt building, as if they were thinking like an architect while dreaming.
Thinking like an architect in the dream.
Wow. It's really no wonder people have come up with these kind of cool nicknames for it all. You hear things like design fragments sent from future spaces, or people saying they visited the place before it was built.
Visited before it was built.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? Maybe the blueprint chooses the dream first? It just completely flips our usual idea of where creative inspiration comes from.
So wrapping this up then, what does this truly unique Oneiric blueprint reflection principle really suggest for us? It seems to point towards dreams being potentially much more than just, random brain activity or processing the day.
Yeah.
They could be receptions or simulations of future architectural prototypes.
Exactly. It offers this completely reverse directional theory of design. Dreams actually coming before construction. It really challenges our linear view of time and, well, the whole act of creation. And it raises a really interesting question for you listening right now to think about. That building from your dream. Could it be a place you're somehow destined to encounter? Or maybe even build, even if no one's drawn up the plans just yet? Something genuinely fascinating to consider the next time you close your eyes.